Are you stupid or something? You probably are, and buddy, that's alright. You're in the right place to learn some stuff, so stick around and you just might. My name is Notme, and I'll be asking some Q's, and at the end you'll be riddled with A's. You might score real high, but even if not, you'll sure be glad you played. If you're looking for prizes, just move along, there's no money for you to earn. You win by trying and doing your best, your prize is the stuff you learn. If you want to be an artiste, you have to know all you can about the world of art. So engage with this quiz, and at the end you'll say, I am smart.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. I am not me. I am Art, and I am your host for I Am Smart, the quiz where people compete with themselves for the right to say, I am smart. By engaging with this quiz, you're accepting that you don't know everything. And that's absolutely fine. Nobody does. For instance, what do Jehovah's Witnesses say to convince people to become Jehovah's Witnesses? I don't know. If you're anything like me, you don't know everything because you spend less time thinking and more time feeling. For instance, I feel the Jehovah's thing is based mainly on a dislike of buying Christmas presents. Hey, don't like the rigmarole of buying prezzies? Become a Jehovah's, you'll never have to buy one again. Maybe not, but it's what I feel, so I can't be wrong. The format of this quiz is very simple, very straightforward. 5 rounds, 5 questions, 5 musings, 30 points overall. That's what we're working towards. A 3 and a 0. 3 and a 0. Hasn't been done yet. Nobody's got all 30, which I put down to good quiz mastery. All you'll need for this quiz is something to write with, something to write on, a brain for thinking, and an imaginosphere for imagining. And they will both be tested, believe me. Optional is a beverage for toasting. I always like to start this quiz with a little toast. I always like to start all my live-tainment with a bit of a toast. It brings a group together, I think, before our mental exertions. I hope you've all got your beverages out there ready, so that you can join me in this toast. Here we go. To me, to you, to the practitioners of voodoo. If any one of you wants to make a little doll of me and give it some money, I'd really appreciate it. I don't really understand how voodoo works. Cheers. Double dip? Yeah, don't mind if I do. Is this too bright? Is it kind of pinging off me a little bit? Yeah, that's a bit too bright. Maybe that's better. There we go. I'm a bit too tall as well. Let's get a cushion out the way. There we go. Oh, look at these emotes. That's lovely. Thank you, Nana. And that is actually, I've got my traditional blue that looks green with the green screen thing of water. But I've also got a slightly more momentous drink with me. I thought I'd celebrate and commiserate. I have some nog, guys. This is the last nog of the year. It's not in stores anymore, so this is the last of my stash. And I thought I would see it off with you. So this is something of a wake. Farewell nog. Thank you, definitely. Yeah, that's a lovely comment. It's got a little bit of that chewiness that you like from slightly out of date nog. But you know what? It still does the trick. Hello, Smarties. Hello, Smarties. I hope you enjoyed learning about rhythm and dance there in the countdown. I figured Pasodoble, dance, bit of rhythm. Makes sense, right? I myself have been blessed with a wonderful sense of rhythm. It helps me with my singing, my dancing, my marching. I could keep a rhythm going for a really long time. It's a gift that I would have. If I was also gifted with cardio, I could do that. But my thanks as ever to Wikipedia for providing the information. How are we doing, Smarties? Definitely not doers ready to learn. Hello. That's good. That's what we're here for. Nana Hobbob, new blazer, who dis? I know, I'm going to stand up. This is the kind of blazer that deserves to be stood up in, I think. Look at that. Look at how the light just gleams off. I mean, you think of the all-time great quiz show hosts. Very few of them looked as fetching as this, I think. Trebek, a lot more understated. Didn't really go for this kind of vibe. Your Michael Barrymores in the UK didn't really go for it. But this is just this takes what was an incredible quiz and makes it incredibler. My opinion. Just gorgeous, says definitely not dude. I wholeheartedly agree. Stunning, says Nana. And tip top, says TB. Absolutely tip top. Glad you're all on board with it. I'm glad you're all on board with the new blazer. Yeah, it's eggnog season somewhere. It is, isn't it? It's maybe just the North Pole at this point, but chewy, wonderful. Are we ready to get started? Let's quiz. Should we quiz? Let's quiz. It's been a few weeks since we've quizzed. This is actually the longest gap in between quizzes since, outside of the interlude. But then, even then, we had the interlude-episodes. Oh, who's this? Oh, just someone pulling a funny face. Thank you very much for that, definitely. That's lovely. She's gone. Yeah, so I'm feeling absolutely jacked to get back into it, and I hope you are all too. So let's just do it. Let's do it. Yay or nay? Yay or nay, absolutely. As an artiste, you must discern the lies from the truth in order to be a great one, yeah? I'm going to give you 5 statements here, but do you believe them? If you do, you write yay. If you don't, you write nay. And as ever, the round subjects are chosen by the high score of last week's quiz. Obviously, we didn't do a quiz last week. I haven't updated the script in that sense. Yay or nay? Yes. We've got the wonderful emotes coming out here. Thank you, Nana. That's wonderful. In the last episode, it was TB Douglas earned the high score and chose... Again, I'm not sure why I do keep it a surprise, because it's obviously not it's not the Christmas Carol. That's the one thing that I didn't update. In my defense, that's the one thing I didn't update. Okay, and I refuse to be made to feel bad about that. I'm just gonna have a little sip of nog to nog it all away. So it's about the Pasodoble. The Pasodoble, the popular Spanish ballroom dance. So I'm going to give you 5 statements about the Pasodoble in some way, shape, or form. You got to tell me whether you believe them. Okay? You want to do it? Let's do it. Number one. Here we go. Number 1. The Pasodoble dance is born from a fast-paced Spanish military march used by infantry troops. A dance built out of a march? Can that be true? I mean, you tell me. That's literally the name of the game. Pasodoble dance is born from a fast-paced Spanish military march used by infantry troops in their lovely, lovely uniforms. Number 1. Number 2, Pasodoble is also the name of a popular Russian dance music duo. How we doing there, guys? We are Pasodoble. We want you to dance. Got a bit Dutch there, but I'm not gonna apologise for that. Maybe they're Dutch Russians. Dutchans. Number 3, Pasodobles or Pasodobles is a song from the 15th studio album by former Beatle Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr, 15 albums. Do you believe that? Do you believe that he was a former Beatle? Do you believe that that's his real... I mean, that's not his real name. His real name is Richard. But do you believe this statement? Pasodobles is a song from the 15th studio album by former Beatle Ringo Starr. Yay or nay? That's all I'm looking for here. Yay or nay? Number 4, a pair of thieves in Spain in the 1800s are said to have danced a Pasodoble so well that they were released from prison. Now, what we're looking for here is not necessarily the veracity of this. It seems like a kind of an apocryphal tale, some kind of urban legend. Well, I don't need you to, these kind of things. Nobody knows really whether they're true or not in the purest sense of the word. All I'm looking for is whether you think there is such an urban legend or such an apocryphal tale. A pair of thieves in Spain in the 1800s are said to have danced a Pasodoble so well, so gosh darned well, they were released from prison. And number 5, final one of this round, final statement. Pasodoble is also a genre of bullfighting music. That I'll give you. That is true. I'll give you that. It is also a genre of bullfighting music. Here's the potentially contentious statement. In the Pedro Almodovar film Talk to Her, about a female, what are they called? Bullfighter. Footage of a real bull being killed specifically for the film is used. So what this statement is positing is that to make a film, a fictional film, noted and highly respected director Pedro Almodovar essentially murdered a big man cow. Just for a film. Matador. Thank you, TB. Matador. A lady matador. Maybe a mataday? Matadar? I don't know what the lady ones are called, but sure, they look lovely in those lovely tight trousers, just like the dudes. Just like the dudes. In the Pedro Almodovar film Talk to Her, footage of a real bull being really killed specifically for the film is used. So again, it's positing that this wasn't they just went to another bullfight and they just filmed it. Saying they staged a bullfight specifically for this and specifically murdered a bull. True or false? Yay or nay? You're cool. And that's all 5 statements done. Is that the round over? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. How dare you say that? How dare you say that? Of course, we need amusing. This is what takes this from just being a cracking regular quiz to a Notme quiz, to a live-tainment spectacular. The musing for this round is: which fictional character would you most like to dance a passionate pasodoble with? So this is a very kind of passionate, kind of Latin, lots of that kind of stuff, lots of that kind of stuff. The kind of dance where you're not sure whether the two people are really angry with each other, or they're looking forward to exercising with each other. Let's say that they're looking forward to getting some good cardio with each other. Shall we say that? Love or hate, passionate is what I'm saying. Which fictional character? It is a little cheeky, TB. It's a little cheeky. We're maybe dancing along a line here. But I feel like I'm handling it well and with maturity. And if there are any young'uns watching, don't bother. If there's something that you don't understand, I'm not quite sure what he's alluding to there, don't bother asking your parents or a guardian, because it's just going to make them awkward and embarrassed as well. Just kind of store it away, and then maybe later on the internet, have a little Google around, or ideally a Bing, and see if you can find out some stuff. I'm sure you'll be able to. I endorse that. There we go. And that is the first round done. We're done already. 20 past 6. We're making great time here, guys. Round 2, long-time smarties will know. Round 2 is, of course, the rando round. You never know quite what you're going to get. With these last 2 quizzes, so I've got a quiz this week, quiz next week, and then I'm off for a little bit. With that break coming up, I just thought self-care. I'd look out a little bit for me, guys. I'm going to do a couple of my favourites. A couple of my favourite recurring rando rounds. And this one, you might not like too much. Song lyrics. Yeah. So I'm going to give you 5 sets of lyrics, a few lines at a time. And I need you to tell me the artist and the song. I'm going to be quite insistent on that. The artist and the song. The only leeway that I will give you is that the artist doesn't necessarily need to be spelled correctly. And that's with regard to one of them in particular, but I'm not going to tell you which one that is. Okay? So I'm going to give you some lyrics. You're going to tell me what song they are. Are we going to give you... Am I giving you any clues? Yeah, I'm giving you some clues. So this is the 1990s. All of these songs are from the 1990s. They are between 30 and 20 years old. Gosh, that just makes you feel old, doesn't it? It just makes... Age is just a number. Age is just a number, guys. So let's get on with the first one. And as ever, I'm going to use my incredible creative reading powers to put you off the scent here. I'm not going to read them in the way that they're sung. That's just what I do. That's how I do things, yeah? Because the love that you gave, that we made, wasn't able to make it enough for you to be open wide. Big fans of the 90s here. TB loves the 90s. Definitely not Duda. 90s music is... which is great. Great. I'm pleased you guys are on board. And number one again, because the love that you gave, that we made, wasn't able to make it enough for you to be open wide. What song is that from and who sung it? This millennial's go-to soundtrack. Well done. And welcome, Anna Crine. Very pleased to see you here. Very pleased to see you. Lots of people, yeah. I mean, I feel like, you know, I don't know necessarily what my appeal is at the moment with much younger people than I am. So I feel like this is a you know, a pretty safe era to work on, and I'm glad you guys are all on board. Number two. Far across the distance and spaces between us, you have come to show you go on. Now, please don't try and jump into any analysis of these lyrics. They're not great, I will say that. Far across the distance and spaces between us, you have come to show you go on. What? I don't know. It's a song that you all know. I tell you that much. It's a song that you all know. I'll bet the house on that. And I'm not a homeowner, so that is maybe less of an audacious brag than it might be with some other people, but I'm confident. Nana Hobbob, I feel like I have a lot of 90s blind spots. Well, that's fine. That's fine. As ever with I Am Smart, the Notme quiz, there are going to be some questions that I'm going to ask you that you know. Bang, you're going to write it down. There are some that I'm going to ask you that you kind of know but you've forgotten. They're the frustrating ones. And then there are going to be other ones that I ask you, you have no idea. I give you the answer later on, you still have no idea, and then that's just a learning opportunity, okay? That's just a learning opportunity. No one could have expected you to get the answer right if you didn't know the answer at all, yeah? Just remember that. That makes about as much sense as these ones. Number 3. Close to me, you're like my father. Close to me, you're like my sister. Close to me, you're like my brother. You are the only one, my everything. And for you, this song I sing. Close to me, you're like my father, yeah? Close to me, you're like my sister. Close to me, you're like my brother. You're the only one, my everything. And for you, this song I sing. Definitely not due to ask such a good middle school dance song. Definitely not due. Pretty confident on that one then. Pretty confident on that one. Let's see if the confidence pays off. It's a very bold set of lyrics as well. Because I don't know what... I mean, I have no sisters, I have no brothers, I'm an only child. But I can't imagine a single person being like all three of those types of people. Father, sister, and brother. That's a very diverse group. I don't care which way you cut it. That's a diverse group. So it's a real strong compliment. Or a sense that maybe somebody who's almost beyond humanity. Let's go on to number 4. Number 4. There used to be a greying tower alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remained a drug that's the high and not the pill. Again, these are thinking lyrics. These are thinking lyrics. You're a drug that's the high and not the pill. So it's like saying that you're the heat but not the flame, right? I mean, it's a thinker. A greying tower alone on the sea. Gosh, evocative much? And then we'll go for number 5. Final one here. Stand up beside the fireplace and take that look from off your face. Because you ain't never gonna burn my heart out. You ain't never gonna burn my heart out. Stand up beside the fireplace and take that look from off your face. Because you ain't never gonna burn my heart out. So if you're looking for clues with this one, perhaps looking for someone perhaps not university educated, you know, take that look from off your face. Grammatically not all there, because you ain't, because should be, are not, aren't ever, are, you ain't ever, you are never going to burn my heart out. Gonna, going to. If it was, you know, a particularly educated person. A Josh Groban. There's a little clue. It's not Josh Groban, although I believe that this is before his time. Professionally, at least. Maybe he was in middle school at this point. He was dancing along to these, as we all may have been. Yeah? I don't know what Josh Groban danced to at his middle school thing, I suppose, is the roundabout point that I'm trying to get to. Here we go. Does anybody need to see any of those again? Let me know in the chat whilst we go through the musing. That's a big M for amusing. Complete these lyrics. You knew it was coming, guys. You knew it was coming. The reason I do these lyrics rounds is because you guys are so flippin' good at writing songs. It's ridiculous. It's like a whole bunch of Bernie Taupins in here. The amount of sick lyrics that you get. Complete these lyrics. It's a 4-line stanza. I've given you 2 of these lines. I need you to give me the other 2 lines. You know I love you, baby. I really, really do. You know I love you, baby. I really, really do. Oh, it's going to be great. And nobody's saying they need to see others again, which is great. That either means it was too easy or I just did a great job of hosting. Either way, I'm not going to stress about it. I'm just going to have a little sip of nog. Feels good to be having this last nog with you guys. Yeah, just something that feels right about it. You want another round? Yes, get another round then, shall we? Let's just do another round. As an artiste, guys, and this, again, this is all about improving your art. This whole quiz, the whole setup, it's about improving your art, making you into a better artiste than you were at the start of the hour, yeah? As an artiste, you need to keep your eyes open, yeah? There is inspiration flying at you at all times. How are you going to feel, guys? How are you going to feel if a spellbinding idea just passed you by and you didn't even realize because you were too busy daydreaming about how Adam Sandler is going to conclude his thematic character study trilogy after Uncut Gems and Hubie Halloween? Really annoyed. That's how. So I'm about to show you some incredible art, and when I do, I want you to look close, yeah? Because there's going to be questions on it afterwards. I put a little Instagram stories poll up to see whether people wanted to watch a Notme thing or continue with our look at some old adverts. You guys pick the adverts. I didn't take it personally because I'm actually very emotionally mature. So we're going to be watching our third of, I realised when I looked at the little collection that I found, the third of 5. So we've still got 2 more of these to go. Maybe we'll spread them out a little bit. But yeah, this is the third instalment of look at all these old adverts from the 50s and 60s. I want you to look close. There's going to be some questions on it afterwards. Here we go.
Coca-Cola has the taste you never get tired of. Always refreshing. That's why things go better with Coke after Coke after Coke. In the dull and commonplace occurrences of day-to-day living, one thing stands out as a completely unique experience. Colt 45 malt liquor. In the dull and commonplace occurrences of day-to-day living, one thing stands out as a completely unique experience. Colt 45 malt liquor.
Believe it or not, we have over a mile of inspectors at the Volkswagen factory. More than 7,000 men who have only one job: to keep an eye on the way Volkswagens are made. And there's no nonsense about them. They reject a Volkswagen, or part of a Volkswagen, for little things you might never even see. And when one of our inspectors says no, it's no. That's why you'll never find so much as a blob of paint or a stitch out of place on a new Volkswagen. An inspector finds it first. Frankly, not every car we make makes it. But any car that gets to the end of that long line of inspectors is a Volkswagen.
This is the art season in New York. At the Metropolitan, the Guggenheim, the new Whitney Museum, Museum of Modern Art, and here at the elegant Wally F. Art Galleries, where art lovers see a show that marries art with fashion. This abstraction, called Caperland Number 1, is not a painting and it's not on canvas. It's printed on Caperland nylon and can be worn. So fashion models walk through the art galleries wearing chic dresses in the same prints that are framed to hang on the walls like old masters. And what's more, this art is washable. Leading dress designers think the bigger, the bolder, the wilder the print, the more artistic the dress, such as the dresses styled by Cobb's Corner. And the same bold prints look even more so in dresses for little girls by Tiny Town Togs. But is it really art? Or is it just another fashion fad? Maybe it's both, now that a posh art gallery gives its nod of approval to the print explosion in fashion today.
Wow. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful, wonderful stuff there. Some real interesting adverts. Not quite as sexist as some of the previous ones that we've watched, but obviously not brilliant. So here we go. Let's get some questions again. Let's get some questions going. And some of these are pretty tricky. I think in this round, you're going to have the hardest question of the entire quiz. There's a warning for you. Question number 1. Name either of the 2 activities in the Coca-Cola advert that are being done by female people. Most of them obviously being done by male people. Again, sexist. Because ladies love to exercise as well. We all know that now. It's for God's sake, it's 2021. But back in the day, didn't really know that as much. So they needed to be told. Question number 2. What symbol did the diver in the white wetsuit have on his chest? If anybody gets this, then you get a lot of swagger points. Again, it will only be worth the 1 official point, as with even a lot of easier questions. But this is a real one to sort the men from the boys. Or, girls. Again, not wishing to be sexist. What did he have on his chest? Pretty difficult. Actually, I'm going to give you a clue here. What animal did the diver in the white wetsuit have on his chest? I think this is maybe too difficult now I think about it. Now, watching those adverts back, it wasn't on screen for very long. What animal did the diver in the white wetsuit have on his chest? That's easier. That's good. Just went live on Instagram whilst you were all watching that, trying to get some people to come and watch, but nobody watched. Question number 3. In both of them actually. I'm not sure why I put second. In both of the Colt 45 adverts, on which finger does the customer wear a ring? So the person getting the drink delivered to him, the guy sitting there with the suit, wears a ring on one of his fingers. I just want to know which one, guys. That's all I want to know. So it's a 1 in 5 choice. 20% chance straight off the bat. Nog. God, it's so good. And I realise what it is. People from the UK are obviously not as familiar with the Nog arts as people in the United States, and asking me over Christmas, what is Nog? What is Nog? And I was saying it's kind of like custard. And whilst it is kind of like custard in that it is milky and creamy and vanilla-y, I think a better analogy is that it's just like it's melted ice cream. I came up with that the other day, and I was so pleased with myself that I reward myself with another glass of eggnog. Question number 4. How many inspectors does Volkswagen have at the Volkswagen factory? And this is an exact number. It's an over. They say they have over a certain amount. But I'll take the amount, or I'll take you saying, oh, it's over this amount. Okay. How many inspectors does Volkswagen have at the Volkswagen factory? How many do they claim to have, I suppose? And then the final question of this round, what is the name of the company that makes bold print fashion clothes for little girls? Little girls have their own company. They don't get made by the same people as the stylish lady clothes, the little girl clothes. It's a different company entirely. It's mentioned in I think it was the last advert for whatever company that was. I particularly enjoy that they say, this is the Guggenheim, this is the Met, this is the Museum of Modern Art, but here's this other art gallery that's actually got our clothes up as art. It's a gallery that you've never heard of, and obviously it would have been more impressive had it been up at the Guggenheim or the Met or the Museum of Modern Art, but we're adding in this fourth one, almost mentioning those other ones as if to say, well, this one's on the same level. And you think, well, is it? And then the musing, guys, the musing. What have we got for the musing? How would you choose to have a drink, Colt 45 or otherwise, delivered to you by a waiter or waitress? Now, obviously, the two examples that we saw in the adverts, one was on a surfboard. One was the waiter jumping out of the plane. My challenge to you guys, top that. Top that. Give me a method of having a drink delivered to you that all those, the guys in the 50s, and the Mad Men style guys in the 50s and 60s coming up with that advertising concept would either think, A, I'm really annoyed that we didn't think of that, or B, what are you talking about, internet? It's something in the future that they wouldn't have had a chance with in the 50s and 60s. How would you choose to have a drink, Colt 45 or otherwise, delivered to you by a waiter or a waitress? And that's the end of the third round. What's coming up in number 4? Oh, as if you don't know. No. No, no, no. Sorry, gosh, you caught me looking at my phone there, seeing if anybody had liked the video that I posted when I did the when I went live while you were all watching the video. It hasn't. Not yet. So, artist spotlight. Game recognizes game, guys. As an artiste, you have to be willing to shine a light on the work of other artists and be nice about it. That way, if they want to be polite, they have to say nice stuff about your art. And this week, the spotlight falls upon, definitely not due to asking for Lucy. Lucy? No. Lucy? No. It's Gary Oldman. It's Gary Oldman, okay? Lucy's nowhere to... Oh, hey, Lucy! Lucy showed up. Hi, Lucy. How you doing, babe? How you doing? Yeah? Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for showing up. Obviously, we love Gary Oldman. He's a wonderful actor. Really an absolute chameleon. Really disappears into his roles. But between you and me, he can't hold a candle to you. Some of the work you did in, such works as Charlie's Angels and what was that other one? Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. Just wipes the floor. Thank you so much for showing up. We really do appreciate it. Everybody's a big fan. Thank you so much. Might we see you next week? Who knows? We'll see whether you're busy. God, you're attractive. Here we go. Gary Oldman. Big G. How much do you know about him? Well, let's find out, shall we? Let's find out as we go to question number 1. Question 1. In which decade was Gary Oldman born? In which decade was Gary Oldman born? That's the question. Question number 2. To which Batman villain actress was Gary Oldman married from 1990 to 1992? Not 1900. Ignore that 0. That 0 should be a 9. And I would go in and change it, but when I did that before, a month or so ago, I don't know if you remember, the whole thing just absolutely split a log and just died. So I'm not going to do that. We're all just going to... He wasn't married for 92 years. I'll be honest with you, to give a little bit of help with the previous question, he was born after 1900. He wasn't even born in that entire decade. The First World War came and went before Gary Oldman blessed this earth with his presence. There's a clue for you. But between 1990 and 1992, just 2 years, not a successful marriage by a lot of metrics, but he was married to a Batman villain actress. Who was it? Question number 3. Gary Oldman has been nominated for an Oscar twice. Name either of the films that he was nominated for. Either of the films that he was nominated for. One of two. One of two. You can give me both if you want. I'll get you some swagger points, certainly. Some swagger jagger, but no actual points. But then if you cared about actual points that much, you wouldn't really have that much swagger now, would you? Ipso facto, it all makes sense. Question number 4. With which friend, and I want you to really pay attention to the wording of this because I'm going to be quite strict with the answers. With which friend does Gary Oldman share scenes in his 2-episode guest star role on Friends? With which friend? I mean, is this worded weirdly? Can I be too strict about it? Just say what you think. Say what you think. With which friend does Gary Oldman share scenes in his 2-episode guest star role on Friends? Final question for the Gary Oldman round. It's one of my favourite types of questions when we're looking at an actor with a good body of work. Gary Oldman has been in 8 films with a number, cardinal or ordinal, in the title. Name one. I'll say that question again. Gary Oldman has been in 8 films, possibly 7. One of them's maybe a little bit of a stretch, but I'm going to go with it. 8 films with a number, cardinal or ordinal, in the title. I just need you to name me one. One Gary Oldman film with a number, cardinal or ordinal, in the title. Okay? There's one that I think you're most likely to get, and several that I guarantee you've never heard of in your life. But there's maybe 3 or 4 that I think realistically you'd have some chance of getting. It's exciting. I was going to do one with it's been in a certain number of films with a woman's name in the title, but I thought it was too difficult because it didn't have enough particularly well-known ones in it. But I was being quite sneaky as well because there's one. I mean, I could just look it up, couldn't I? But there was one about with Grace in the title, and then there was another one, obviously, who's in the CG animated A Christmas Carol. So I was being kind of sneaky with it. So I thought, maybe that's too difficult. Maybe it's too difficult. So I didn't. I did the numbers one. And there we go. And our Gary Oldman musing. Name a film role that would have improved the film had Gary Oldman played it. So I struggle again with the wording of this one. A particularly straightforward way of wording it. So basically, there's a film that Gary Oldman's not in. There is a role that Gary Oldman would play very well. Had Gary Oldman played that role, the film would have been improved. The film would have been a better film had Gary Oldman played a particular role within that film. Nana Hobbob says, a rough quiz this evening, so much to learn. That's a shame. I don't want it to be rough. I don't want it to be a rough experience. I want it to be, it's one of the challenges as a quiz master, as a quiz show trivia master, to really find that balance between, as ever, between accessibility and intellectual rigor. Sometimes I'll, fall too far one side of the line or the other. For that, I apologize. But I'm hoping that maybe you'll pull it back in the next round. Maybe it'll pull it back in the next round. Maybe not, though, actually, because I know what's coming up. But name a film role that would have improved the film had Gary Oldman played it. Had Gary Oldman played it. And bear in mind, he's a chameleon. He can do anything. So don't be afraid to really push the boat out with this one. And that's round 4. 6:52. Good gracious. Have I been rambling more this time? Talking specifically and properly? I don't know. Well, we've only got one round to go, so let's get to it. I wouldn't have enjoyed Moby Dick anywhere near as much had Herman Melville not been so knowledgeable about marine biology. Artists need to know about the world around them, okay? Not just art. And so I present this round. The not art round. It's about not art. No art. Nart. Nana Hobbob, Nart. Thank you very much. Definitely not Duda. Nart. Thank you, guys. Getting into the spirit of things, and I really respect that. But what is this Nart round about? Well, I thought we'd go geographical. I thought we'd start a series of Nart rounds, not necessarily consecutive, but an ongoing series about continents. And alphabetically, yeah, I think so. Yeah, this one comes first. Africa. Africa. We're going to learn about Africa. Thank you, TP. Better late than never. Question number 1 on Africa. How many countries are there in Africa? Plus or minus 3. So I'm giving you a pretty big leeway here. So you can be 3 too many or 3 not enough. So that's like a range of 7, right? So you can be on the nose. 1 too many, 2 too many, 3 too many. Yeah. So you get a range of 7 here. Africa and their blessed rains. Absolutely. Absolutely. If only that had been released in the 90s, then we could have had that in the 90s round. Could have had some nice, synergy. God, eggnog is just the flipping best. How many countries are there in Africa? Plus or minus 3. Nice and simple. Take your best guess if you don't know, because I'm confident you don't know. Question 2. What is the biggest country in Africa, my babe? What is the biggest country in Africa? What is the biggest, largest, most spacious country in Africa? And it's interesting because I imagine with any other continent, you'd have a pretty decent shot of answering this one. Each continent has like the not the main attraction, but like this is the big boy. This is the one that it's ginormous. Africa, it's a little trickier. It's a little trickier. So take a guess if you don't know. Question number 3. What is the name of the big island off the eastern coast of Africa? So we've got Africa, and then we've got this little fella off to the side. Wait, how are you looking at the screen? So it'd be be like that, so it'd be backwards, and then it'd be off the little island off there. What's that called? It's gonna take a lot to drive me away from you. Gosh, it's in my head. Thanks, dude. Thanks, Nana. Just buried that one right in there, haven't you? Question number 4. Africa is the location of the world's longest river. What is its name? The world's longest river. Interesting. There's a fact. Before we even get to the question, Africa is the location of the world's longest river. It's in Africa. If someone like rushes up to you and they're covered in blood and they're holding some kind of trivia game and they have the desperation of 1,000 burning suns in their eyes, and they say, which continent is the world's longest river in? You'll be able to say, Africa, baby. It's the gift I give you. What is the name? I mean, you might know that, you might not, but I've given you that information. That's yours to keep. And then the final... it's come so quickly. The final question of this week's quiz. 4 languages are spoken by over 100 million people in Africa. Name any 2 of them. Okay? So there's a lot of different languages knocking around in Africa. A lot of people speaking a lot of different tongues. 4 of those languages, the most used 4 languages, are spoken by over 100 million people. 4 of those languages. I just need you to name me 2 of them. 2 languages. Four languages spoken by over 100 million people in Africa. Name any 2 of them. Yeah, it's a lot of rigor in this one. Maybe I went too hard on that. Maybe this is too hard. If we start getting most results in the single digits, then that's a message to me. That's a message to me, and that's the thing that I've learned this week. And then the final musing. It's a real simple one, guys. It's a real simple one. Who's your favourite African? Who is your favourite African? Favourite person who comes from Africa. I'll give you another few seconds on that. Another 6 seconds. There we go. Guys, that's all the questions done. You nailed it. You survived. It's a whole hour of questions. It seems like a lot. But well done. So do you want to celebrate? Let's celebrate.
I asked you some questions, but now the question part is done. Now let's hear some answers and find out who has won, which is everybody.
Oh, you caught me being cheeky there again, didn't you? Gosh. It's just, you don't need to know. That's fine. Before we get to the answers, as ever, I'm going to give you a fact of the week. Do you want to know? Do you want a fact of the week? I'm going to give you a fact of the week. The day after tomorrow. So we've got today. We've got tomorrow. We've got the day after tomorrow. The technical term for that day is overmorrow. Overmorrow. So an example sentence could be, I've got a doctor's appointment overmorrow. Isn't that wonderful? It's one of those cool facts that when the pandemic allows, of course, when you go back to parties and so forth and socializing with large groups of people, this fact will make you the hit of any party you step foot inside. They'll carry you out on your shoulders, on their shoulders, like you've just won the big sports game. They'll be chanting, overmorrow, overmorrow, overmorrow. Mark my words. you'll realise that this is, you'll be very, very pleased. Just one word, TB. No need for the hyphen. And if you want more information, I would look it up. Don't look it up now. Don't look it up tomorrow. Look it up overmorrow. Let's get some answers. Let's get some answers, guys. Overmorrow. Oh, I like that, Nana. I like that. Overmorrow. 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 Yay or nay? Yay or nay? Here we go. What do we have here? What was the musing? Which fictional character would you most like to dance a Pasodoble with? Guys, I want you to take what you wrote down for this, and I want you to get it in the chat, okay? I want you to get that in the chat while we go through these answers. The Pasodoble dance is born from a fast-paced Spanish military march used by infantry troops. That's a yay. That is how it got its name. Number 2. Pasodoble it literally means double time or double something, double speed maybe, in Spanish. Statement number 2, Pasodoble is also the name of a popular Russian dance duo. Let's make this a little larger. Is that yay or nay? That is, of course, nay. It is the name of a popular German Neue Deutsche Welle band, which is a musical style in Germany, New German World. Neue Deutsche Welle. But they're called Pasodoble. Statement number 3, Pasodobles is a song from the 15th studio album by former Beatle Ringo Starr. Yay. That's right. Ringo Starr has made 15 albums of solo material. That's another fact of the week for you. Statement number 4, a pair of thieves in Spain in the 1800s are said to have danced to Pasodoble so well that they were released from prison every single week. I tried to make the answers to these ones that kind of, this part wasn't right, but it was partly right. It was a part yay, but a part nay, but one each week I'll just make up entirely, and that was this one. Just made it up. Just used my creative juices and made it up, so that's a nay. And then Pasodoble is also a genre of bullfighting music. In the Pedro Almodovar film Talk to Her, footage of a real bull being really killed specifically for the film is used. Yay! What a sweetheart! Pedro Almodovar killing a bull specifically for a film. It's cultural there, isn't it? It's cultural, so you can get away with it. Which fictional character would you most like to dance a passionate Pasodoble with? Let's take it to the chat. Definitely not due to Chewbacca. Oh, that's a really, like dancing a passionate Pasodoble with a walking carpet. I don't know a huge amount about the Star Wars films. I know that Chewbacca is from the Star Wars films. I know that he's big, and I know that he is hairy. Just the thought of being that close to such a large mountain of fur, it does make me happy. Coordination might be an issue. Obviously, you don't want something that large to be stepping on your feet. But that aside, if he was skilled in the art of Pasodoble, I'm sure he'd have no problems. That's a great answer. Pillsbury Doughboy. Again, it's that proximity that I don't know necessarily what level of passion you get from the Pillsbury Doughboy, but I tell you what you would get. You get up close and personal with the Pillsbury Doughboy, and you'd get that freshly baked bread smell. Oh my goodness. That's a great answer there. Anna Karine, Zorro, working within the Latin X community. Yeah, well done. That's culturally respectful, Anna Karine, which means that I culturally respect you. That's great. TB Douglas, Gomez Adams, already proven that he's a heck of a dancer. That's smart, TB. That's using the noodle. That's not just thinking, who would I like to lock eyes with in that most passionate of ways? But it's also thinking, hey, who's going to be able to keep up with me? Who's going to be able to keep up with old TB Douglas on the dance floor? Gomez Adams absolutely would. That's a great answer. What was the answer to number 2, says TB? What was number 2? Pasodoble is also the name of popular Russian dance music duo. Yeah, it's a German Neue Deutsche Welle music group. So close, but no cigar, unfortunately, or Russian. I don't know what they smoke instead of cigars. Probably just old bits of grass. It's a terrible place over there. But points all round for those guesses, guys. Points all round for those musings. And obviously at 1 point each for any of those yay or nays that you got right. Well done. Rando round. The Marlon Brando round. Here we go. Marlon Brando. The musing was complete these lyrics. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. You know I love you, baby. I really, really do. Really, really do. Get it in the chat. Get it in the chat. Finish those lyrics in the chat while we go through the questions. Oh. Because the love that you gave that we made wasn't able to make it enough for you to be open wide. And you know, You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. Every time I scratch a nail down someone else's back, I hope you feel it. Well, do you feel it? And I'm here to remind you that, all the stuff. And the stuff about that cross-eyed bear. Not what you expect from the lyrics, but she makes it work, Alanis. Maybe it's the Canadianness. I don't know. Far across the distance and spaces between us, you have come to show you. Go on. Celine Dion making no sense, but again making it work. Something about Canadian women, maybe. Something about Canadian women. So well done if you got that one right. Close to me, you're like my father. Close to me, you're like my sister. Close to me, you're like my brother. You are the only one, my everything. And for you, this song I sing. All my life, I've been with someone like you. And this is the one that I was thinking of. If you didn't spell it specifically like that, because that's a heck of a set of spellings, then be generous with yourself. Give yourself the point if you want. I think I know that I finally found you. That's deep, that song. Deep. Both with the lyrics and the pitch. Question number 4. There used to be a graying tower alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remained a drug. The high, not the peel. But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become a large, and the light that you shine can't be seen? Ooh, the more I get at you, I feel the yeah. Well done if you got that one right. Stand up beside the fireplace, so take that look from off your face, 'cause you ain't never gonna burn my heart out. So Sally Can Wait, etc., etc. Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis. I thought I'd throw a little English one in there. Shout out to all the Brits. And so well done if you got any of those right. Some of them are pretty easy, I think. Some of them are quite tricky. So well done if you did well on that round. Complete these lyrics. Here we go. This is mainly the reason I showed up for this quiz today. Let's see. Nana Hobble straight in there. You know I love you, baby. I really, really do. Check my glove box. You'll find my registration too. Yeah, yeah. So maybe like a kind of a love story between somebody in an Uber, like an Uber driver, and that's the vibe I'm getting from that, Uber driver and passenger. Maybe it'll be called 5 Stars. That's a nice one. I like that, Nana Hobub. That's nice. More functional than most people will go for, I assume. Let's see what Definitely Not Duda's got. Complete his lyrics. You know I love you, baby. I really, really do. Even though you make some terrible still. Meow. As if by magic, these microphones have sprung up. That's wonderful. Even though you make terrible stew, showing love isn't perfect. Sometimes you've got to look past people's flaws. Although I would say stew is a pretty easy dish. You just throw a load of stuff in, a little bit of seasoning, and it's, it kind of cooks itself. So if somebody does make a terrible stew, like not an amazing stew, sure, you can look past that, but a terrible stew, you got to start. Have they been kicked in the head by a horse, perhaps, or some kind of? I don't know, but that's great lyrics. It's TB. It's TB. You know I love you, baby, I really, really do. But if you lie to me again, I leave you in Peru. I like again, as with the Oasis song, I like messing around with grammar. You don't have to be entirely grammatically correct in a song, and TB has taken advantage of that. I leave you in Peru. Not I'm going to, not I will, not I should, just I leave you in Peru. If you lie to me again, I leave you in Peru. Obviously, you'd have to go to Peru first. So it's a long-term plan. But again, just shows don't cross TB. TB's got some vengeance. And Anna Karine, let's see what we've got. Complete the lyrics. You know I love you, baby. I really, really do. I just think maybe it's your turn to pick up the dog poo. Your turn to pick up the dog poo. It's your turn to pick up the dog poo. Ow, double bag it. It looks like it's a bit runny. That's great. That's great. And again, it's the invocation of the everyday. It's the invocation of the everyday alongside within a love song that you don't really see that much. You don't really see that much. I would wager that you've never seen dog poo featured in a song, especially a love song. So that's a bold choice, Anna Karine. But I think it speaks to your courage in the realm of songwriting. And I would say that for all of you. All of them, very strange suggestions, but you make them all work. Are you all Canadian women? Points all round. Let's go for the next round. What have we got? Look Close. Of course we've got Look Close. Of course we've got Look Close. The musing here. How would you choose to have a drink? Colt 45 or otherwise delivered to you by a waiter or a waitress. Please get it in the chat. Get it in the chat. Please get it in the chat and we will read it once we've done the answer. Name either of the two activities in the Coca-Cola advert that are being done by female people. Swimming and roller skating. They're girl sports. They're girl sports, guys. What is a man going to go swimming? Get out of here. And roller skating, of course, a man will go for rollerblades. Or a man will just walk. He'll just take his time. Thank you very much. This is the 50s. Question number 2, which symbol, or we change that to which animal did the diver in the white wetsuit have on his chest? This is the hardest question of the week. Should there be some extra prize for that? I don't know. But the answer is a crab. Look how difficult that is. I feel bad now. That's far too difficult. You're never going to see that crab. That was on screen for maybe a second. Sorry, just something in my throat. Need to have a bit of water. Clearly a crab. Here we go. Question number 3. In the Colt 45 advert, on which finger does the customer wear a ring? He, of course, wears it on his pinky ring. There it is. And it was on both adverts, so there was a chance to see on both of them. So that was a little easier. Question number 4. How many inspectors does Volkswagen have at the Volkswagen factory? Over 7,000, they claim. Over 7,000, which says to me that is there anybody in the factory that isn't an inspector? That's a heck of a lot of inspectors for one factory. Question number 5. What is I don't know. I don't make cars though, so I suppose they're going to know better than me. What is the name of the company that makes bold print fashion clothes for little girls? Oh, what a wonderful name for a company. It's Tiny Town Togs. Tiny Town Togs. Togs, a word that you just don't hear that much anymore. You just don't hear that much. How would you choose to have a drink? Colt 45 or otherwise delivered to you by a waiter or a waitress? Let's see what we've got. Let's take it to the chat. TB Douglas says, a robotic waitress with a hovering tray. Oh, I like that. Although one could argue, if you've got a hovering tray, do you need the robotic waitress? Maybe it's like Uncanny Valley style, and the bar or wherever you are in the future has just realized, people prefer having it delivered by an actual humanoid, if not human, figure. So you're thinking outside the box, TB, and I like that a lot. I would enjoy that as well. A robotic waitress. I wonder what she'd be wearing. A bit of nog there. Nana Hobbob looks like a flying spaghetti monster. Oh, on the guy's thing, if you wrote flying spaghetti monster or if you wrote octopus, I'll give you that. I mean, it is a crab, but that's only for the benefit of slowing it down and looking at it frame by frame. So, again, be kind to yourself. Anna Grime, picture the Prince Ali entrance scene as depicted in Disney's Aladdin. What a wonderful film that is. And so would this would be preceded by singers, dancers, musicians? Would the drink ultimately be on top of an elephant? That would be a pretty impressive trick. Maybe if it's on the elephant's head, and then by the end you train the elephant to go, because they're obviously very clever. They're artists. One of them paints. Just lean down, and then it just on the tray, just, and then you plink. I think this is going to be a problem for all of them. My worry would be with some of these elaborate ones, and it's the same for the advert. If they got the drink wrong, I'd probably feel quite bad sending it back. So that's, they're not without their issues, these possibilities. But that's a really nice choice, Anna Grine. This is a very grand scene. Nana Hobbob served to me with an extra Colt 45 and Billy D. Williams, so we could have a chat over our malt beverages. Would Billy D. Williams be delivering? Would he be the waiter, or would the waiter have on one tray 2 Colt 45s and on the other tray just a small seat and Billy D? I mean, there's some arm strength going on that maybe it would have to be, as with TB's, a robotic waiter with some kind of robotic arm strength to support a man who has, gained weight as he's got older, as a lot of us, I'm sure, will do eventually in the 40 or 50 years when I get old. But that could be quite impressive. So here's your drinks. Here's a drinking partner. Here's Billy D. Williams. That's great. I like that a lot. Definitely having them ski down a mountain while doing tricks. That's nice. Again, we've got some potentially logistical issues in terms of, does that mean the bar is at the top of the mountain and you're sitting at the bottom of the mountain? How would they get the supplies up? Seems quite gimmicky. But then the adverts didn't think of these kind of things, did they? I mean, the dude surfing in, where's he come from? So maybe I'm overthinking things. Definitely, that's nice. I like that, skiing down a mountain. And again, with a lot of these, if they bring that drink to you and it's still got anything in it and it's not fizzing up beyond belief, that deserves an 8% tip. Call me generous, but that deserves an 8% tip. Points all around, guys. That's great. X Games. Kapow. Yeah, absolutely. There could be a new X Games thing. Delivering a drink. I think they'd get on board with that. Those guys. They like obeying orders, don't they? These guys in the X Games. RT Spotlight. Who do we have? Not you, Lucy, but God bless you for sticking around. She doesn't get paid for this. Musing. Name a film role that would have improved the film had Gary Oldman played it. Get it in the chat, please, guys. Get it in the chat. Question number 1. In which decade was Gary Oldman born? It was the 1950s. More specifically, 1958. If anyone decided to write the year and got 1958, let me know, because that does have some swagger points. To which Batman villain actress was Gary Oldman married from 1990 to 1992? I realise I maybe made this too easy by the use of the word villain, because I believe there have only been a couple of these, but it was Uma Thurman. Wouldn't have thought it, would you? Wouldn't have thought it. That was a real surprise to me, so I had to put it in the quiz. Uma Thurman and Gary Oldman. Strange bedfellow. I mean, too strange. It only lasted 2 years. Question number 3. Gary Oldman has been nominated for an Oscar twice. Name either of the films he was nominated for. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, a very slow film. And The Darkest Hour, a very fat film. But well done, Gary, for both of them. And well done you if you got either of those. Question number 4, with which friend does Gary Oldman share scenes in his 2-episode guest star role on Friends? I said Joey Tribbiani. I suppose if you want to say Matt LeBlanc, I suppose you can give yourself a point, but know that I'm not happy about it. And question number 5, Gary Oldman has been in 8 films with the number cardinal or ordinal in the title. Name one of them, please. Name one of them. Track 29, Murder in the First, one of the ordinal ones. The Fifth Element, which I imagine is the one that most of you would have got. Air Force One, another one that you could have got. Nil by Mouth, it's maybe a little bit touch and go, but I'll give it to you. Interstate 60, Planet 51, or Child 44. So any of those will get you the points. So well done if you got one of those, because I think that was quite tricky. I think they are quite tricky when you start having to think kind of conceptually about somebody's back catalogue. Name a film role that would have improved if the film had Gary... you can read it, that's fine. Definitely not do the main character in The Room or Mark. Oh, yeah. I mean, but then there's a charm to The Room. It's a guy kind of like me, of where he is an auteur and he's doing exactly what he wants to do, and it's really there's a great amount of charm to that maybe would have been lost with Gary Oldman. So I would agree. I would side with Mark. I think it would be wonderful to have the unique performance that Tommy Wiseau is bringing, playing opposite a Gary Oldman, because also you don't think, because Gary Oldman, he's a chameleon, he fits into wherever he needs to fit in. If he's playing opposite to Tommy Wiseau, bringing that Tommy Wiseau charm and energy, what does Gary Oldman do in response to that, right? Is it like one-upsmanship? Is it, who knows? But you're making me think about it, and I like that, definitely. Thank you. T.B. Douglas, Venom. I didn't like it, but I think Gary would have made it work. Yeah. I mean, that was Tom Hardy, wasn't it? That was Tom Hardy being very, again, doing one of those accents that I just love. One of the things I just love about Tom is that he just has that confidence to jump in with an accent that nobody's ever heard before. And he dares you to not like it. And he's won every dare, because I love it to pieces. Who sounds like that? Nobody. But you've made it great. And also, I think Gary would look pretty good in all the... wasn't he eating a lobster at one point in a tank? I think Gary Oldman could do it. Gary Oldman has that strange energy that makes me think, I'm not sure whether Gary Oldman might have done it in real life. You know, he's got that kind of skittish, intense way about him. I don't know. Nana Hallwell, Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind. Absolutely. I mean, he could, yeah. I mean, he can keep you going on that film, because that is an endurance challenge of a film. Obviously, we all know that. But he can keep you going with his strange choices, and also when it comes to swearing at the end, he just launch it. I don't give it. He might not even have said damn, because he's Gary Oldman and he's a little, off the wall. I don't give a... That's how you shock her. Gary. Anna Karine, Gigli replacing Ben Affleck. Interesting. Would have improved it. That's a possibility. I think he looks better clean shaven than Ben Affleck. I think Ben Affleck, when he is clean shaven, often looks childlike, like a great big acting baby, with a full head of hair. And so I'd agree. Yeah. Gigli, starring Gary Oldman, opposite Jennifer Lopez as well. Maybe bringing some of her best work out of her as well. Great choices all round, guys. Great choices all round. There's a lot of films that I want to see now. I want to poke my head into that Gary Oldman being John Malkovich universe, where he just plays everybody. That's what I want, and that's what you should want as well. So points all round for everybody. Points all round. That's great. And then on to the final round. Here we go. Final round. It's all about Africa. The musing was, who is your favourite African? Please get it in the chat. I want to see a wonderful list of just great Africans. Question number 1. How many countries are there in Africa? Plus or minus 3. Excuse me. That's 54. Which means if you wrote anything from 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, or 57, 51 to 57, you get the point. So well done you. Number 2. What is the biggest country in Africa? Algeria. Surprised me. I wouldn't have thought that. But it taught me something, and I'm sure it's taught you something as well. But if you did get that right, well done. What is the name of the big island off the eastern coast of Africa? It is Madagascar. It's where those films were set. They're fictional. Question number 4. Africa is the location of the world's longest river. What is its name? This is an easy one. River Nile. River Nile, of course, it's the River Nile. And question number 5. 4 languages are spoken by over 100 million people in Africa. Name any 2 of them. Well done if you got this one right. This is tricky. Arabic, English, French, and Swahili. So if you got any 2 of those, you get the point. If you didn't, you don't. But that's interesting, isn't it? Arabic, and this is in order. So Arabic was the most, then English, then French, then Swahili. A lot of people speak in English. It's the best language, isn't it? It's the best language. It's the global language, so it makes sense that they would do that, because obviously they are very clever. So well done if you got any of those right. Some of them are pretty tricky. Who's your favorite African? Let's just get a lovely little rundown of some great Africans here. TB Douglas, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who is an author. I want to say an author. Not too familiar with his or her works, but I trust your judgment, TB. So well done. Well done, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Yes, she's an author. Knew it. First time. Nana Hobob and Annika Ryan both going for Nelson Mandela, although Annika Ryan going with it a little bit more forcefully. Nelson freaking Mandela. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, he's great, and a great example for me of the reforming power of prison, because a lot of time people go into prison and they fall back into it. It's an endless cycle. It's a worrying, a very troubling, endless cycle. But Nelson Mandela, he went to prison, he did his bird, he came out, and he did not reoffend. And that's testament to him as a person. Well done, you, Nelson. Well done for fighting your way out of it. Definitely not due to my co-worker, Abdul. Sounds like a heck of a chap. And you can pass on that message. Abdul, you're a great dude. A great dude. Definitely Not Dude's a fan. And I'm a fan of Definitely Not Dude, so I'm a fan of you, Abdul. What an inspiration you are. Wonderful. What a lovely, nice little nugget of positivity to end that on. Nice little nugget of positivity to end that on. So as we are totting up our scores, I want to remind you that in this quiz, aside from the yay or nay subject choice, you are only competing against yourself. There's no point threshold to being smart. If you have all the questions right that you realistically could have been expected to get, you are smart. If you're watching this show on YouTube, not live after the fact, please make sure to write down your score and your musing answers in the comments below, because I would love to hear how you did. And also, click a like. How are we doing, guys? How are we doing? Oh, Nana Hobob. So what is art? I wasn't expecting that. I don't. I possibly shouldn't have kept this up from the most week show, but you've paid for it. You've paid for it, so you're gonna get it. Are you ready for it? What is art? Here we go. When a child plays quietly on their own, that is art. There you go, Nana. There you go. So yeah, make sure you get your scores in the chat. I would love to hear how you did. Whilst you write them down, this week we do have the Most Week show coming up. It is a Snap Quest week, and I always like to get a nice little opportunity for the Snap Quest prompt in the quiz. So get your eyes on this.
Snap Quest is almost nigh a test for your creative eye. You simply must give it a try, and this week's prompt is...
The point here is to get really creative with the prompt. Now obviously this prompt is fairly straightforward. It's going to be a smiley face of some description, but where will that smiley face be? What form will that smiley face take? What will the smiley face be made out of? Maybe you'll be lucky and you'll see a smiley face out in the wild and you'll just be able to take a snap of that. Maybe you'll have to craft your own smiley face and take a snap of that. Regardless, however you do it, if you want to put a smiley face on this smiley face, you'll take your pictures and email them to me by Saturday morning at the latest, please, okay? Let's be all smiles. There we go. There we go. So smiley, make sure you get a smiley picture in, and you can be part of this this week's SnapQuest. So, Anna Karine, 5. I came from the musings and the camaraderie, and I trust that you are leaving with plenty of both. Well done, you. That's a great score. Nana Hobbob, 19. Very high standards from you, Nana Hobbob, because you are complaining that it was a tough round, it was a tough week. And yet you still got 19. You still got over half, dude. So you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Nana, I want you to be take it easy on my friend, okay? His name's Nana, yeah? He's a great guy. He's trying his best. So just lighten up on him, yeah? Which means that it's a double victory. Definitely not due to Ann T.B. Douglas. Great scores of 21. 2021. We have a tiebreaker. We have a tiebreaker. I don't know whether the colours are going to show up, but we have a tiebreaker. Okay, so this is an AV cable for my microphone. There is a red one and a black one, okay? There's a red one and a black one. I'm going to hold one of them up. Somebody call it. Is this red or is this black? Red or black, guys? Red or black? TB or definitely? Red or black? Somebody call it. Definitely says red. And it is red. The other one, of course, being black. So definitely you are the winner. Congratulations. And you get to choose the round, the yay or nay round subject for next week. Woohoo indeed. Yeah, you earned that woohoo. So episode 26 will be governed by your choice right now. Yeah, amazing drama. Thank you, Nana. It's what I concoct. It's what I concoct. So this is going to be the last quiz, as I say, before. I'm not calling it an interlude, am I? Some kind of synonym of interlude. Whatever I'm going to call it. But there's going to be a break. So this is an important one. Okay, so you need to make sure that this is an absolute tip top. TB, well done. You beat me to it. I was typing red, but too slow. Too slow on that red. Too slow on that red. It's only 3 letters, but sometimes it can take a while, can't it? Can take a while. Should we get some more music going? Let's get some more music going while Pirates. I mean, I put some more music on, but no need. Pirates. Absolutely. That's a great round. I'm looking forward to writing questions on that already. So there we go. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a little something, and I hope you felt creative all at the same time. Okay, I am Notme. I am Art, and I hope that you'll join me next week, same time, same place, to learn about pirates, amongst other things, and have another opportunity to say to yourself, I am smart. A little bit of nog. And a farewell.
So there we go, and well done you, whatever your score might be. I definitely think that you are smart, though Prob's not as smart as me. Your art will be better, trust me on this, should be nothing short of sublime. That's why you learn, and don't stop now, I'll see you right here next time. I am smart.